So the relationship between a board, the CEO and management team is such a critical one. Boards are heavily reliant on the CEO and their management team for information flows in a timely, accurate way. And of course that helps boards monitor company performance and account back to the owners of the company for that performance. So what happens when that relationship breaks down? Obviously it causes significant issues for the board. The relationship between board and management is an interesting one therefore, and a really key one. And I think historically that relationship was almost adversarial. The CEO would come into the boardroom almost to be put on inquisition by the board, and some directors saw their role as almost to catch out the CEO. Fortunately, we've moved from that, and now it's a lot more collaborative. In fact, whenever I join a board and I have a discussion with the CEO as part of the induction, I make a point of saying, we're all in this together. We're here to achieve the same thing, the company's purpose, the company's strategy. We just have slightly different roles in how we execute on that. So what makes for a good board and management relationship? I think it's really useful to sit down and proactively think about this and actually have a discussion and even document the outcomes of that discussion. The first thing I think it's useful to think about is what's the principles for the relationship. And typically they are about things like collaboration, open and accountable reporting, the so-called no surprises approach, where management feels they can bring the good, the bad, the ugly news to the board in a timely way and not feel that they're going to get chastised by the board, which means of course management won't do that next time. They'll try to deal with the issue themselves before they tell the board. And also to agree to communication protocols. What are the protocols for management and people in the organisation talking to the board, and vice versa? It's also useful to think about mutual expectations. So the expectations that a board might have of the CEO and management team can be things along the lines of performing within the boundaries of strategy and authority, providing timely and accurate information, engaging in open communication, the so-called good and bad news as I referred to before, providing strategic papers with clarity as to resolutions sought from the board, being open to constructive challenge by the board, and recognising that the board is ultimately accountable for the company's performance. And of course the CEO and management team should also have expectations of the board, and it's useful to talk about these and also document them. They might be along the lines of clarity as to direction and performance expectations, clarity regarding their role and their authority, that is, their delegations of authority, and that should be clearly written in a document. Clarity is the information required by the board, and that includes the format and content of key reports and papers. Reward and recognition, support and guidance, and the ability to call on directors' skills and experience. And of course, and quite rightly, CEOs and their management team should also expect that directors are diligent in their role, which includes attending board meetings. So thinking about some of these things proactively, particularly when you've got a new board and new management team, and having an explicit discussion about principles for operation and mutual expectations can be a great way to set up that board and management relationship for success.